Well, folks, welcome to Ceol agus Craic here at Radio Maria Ireland. Hello, Father, how are you?
I'm good now, Thomas. We're back for another round. New Year has started and dive straight in and just get on with the job.
You know what, Father? Do you see who's inside?
We've some fine guests here. We should step back here, Thomas, and probably hand in the microphone.
Towel, definitely. I'm going to hang up the towel after this, I know well. Well, anyway, we'll introduce the two guests.
Say hello, by all means.
Hello, Étáin.
Yes, Étáin, yeah.
Étáin and Maria.
Hello, Étáin agus Máire.
Máire, sorry.
You're all right?
No.
So close.
Yeah. No, I tell you, it's Radio Maria has me gone a bit haywire, you know.
It's the Maria.
Well, thankfully, Father, you're here because you might be able to, a little chat in Irish.
Well, I don't know. No, that could be a bit taking a chance.
They might know a bit of Munster Irish, you know.
Who knows? We might venture into that. So we're not live, I don't think, on our social media at the minute. We're recording, though, I believe, and it will be posted up on our YouTube channel. So keep an eye out there for later on. But introduce our guests and tell us more.
Máire and Étáin are from the Rathcarn Gaeltacht. Is that right?
That's
where
it.
dreams come true. It's fabulous. So we were actually the youngest Gaeltacht. We were founded in Chéad Ghluin Eile in 1935. So our mamo actually came from the west in 1935, and then Dado later joined in Chéad Ghluin in 1937. And basically it was the government's way of trying to bring more Irish to the east coast. So they offered families from Connemara, they offered them land, a bit of the bog and a house in the works. They offered them plenty of, what would you say? Goods to move.
Incentives.
Exactly, sure, that's it.
Bribes.
To have more Gaeilge in the east coast or on the east coast. So we're here in Rathcarn ever since, really. So we're the third generation. So Mamo and Dado, even though they were both from Connemara, they met in Rathcarn, they married. Agus, they had Dad Shanga, our dad, who was raised with Irish, and then Dad Shanga met our fabulous mother Carmel, and so she married in, and then sure they had us. So we're the third generation of the Gaeltacht, still going strong. Nice. And 'tis fab. We love Rathcarn.
We do. It's County Meath, am I correct there? Yes,
you are, yeah.
Because I wasn't aware there was a Gaeltacht in County Meath.
Oh, so. Don't be letting yourself down.
No, I'm just being honest here.
We need to work on our marketing, we know. We're trying. And sure, like wherever we are, we're always saying like, sure, we're from Rathcarn city centre, haven't you heard of us? But I suppose because we ourselves moved to Rathcarn, as in like our granny and granddad did, because we're such a new Gaeltacht, like we love when people come to visit, we love when people move in, because sure, we moved in ourselves, do you know? So it's actually just fabulous to see people coming, and we've different festivals. We fail in the Me, which is around Me Yedifor, around Me Yedifor, or Me in the Sauna. Me in the Sauna in November.
Summertime.
And then when do we have? We have then Fail in the Galley. We have our own Irish festival. It's like an Irish electric picnic, and there's like camping, there's all Irish music, and a lot of like new like modern artists singing Oscail, and it's great.
Glamping maybe for the Gael goers, no?
That's it. Of course.
Irish oxygen.
Yes.
Well, I heard you saying there's Portuck up there. I don't believe it. And County Meath, the Royal County.
Well, there is, but I don't think Máire spent much time with it now.
All right, yes, because I worked on a bog.
Oh, so, you know, stunning.
He's a man from the bog himself, you know.
I am a bit of a bog man in the alright. Obersts are around Portuck.
Yeah. God's work.
Well, that's absolutely great. The Connemara Irish is the Irish in of Rathcarn, so
yes. Yeah, that's the dialect that we would have. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not like yourself, Father. You're
Munster
Irish.
You're different story.
Irish,
different story altogether. Yes, you better say it less.
More of a lilt.
That's right.
So,
fantastic.
You have a CD out?
Yeah, well, we have a CD launching very, very soon, please God, at the end of this month. But we have launched 2 singles to promote our CD. The CD is called Colin Verts, and the reason why we chose this is because anyone who knows us will know we're always together. And when we were growing up, Dad would, let's say, often use the phrase Colin Verts, which meant where are the two, and he'd ask Mum, where are the two, what are they up to? So we thought it was very, very fitting to have our first CD named with that title, Cólaverts. We're the two.
Very good, lovely.
Yeah.
An unusual title, yeah.
We love the story behind it though. Yeah.
Well, you can sure tell that you're sisters anyway,
Yeah.
by looking.
And sure, there's only a year and a half between us, and we decided recently that we're twins, because sometimes, do you know, growing up, when you're the eldest sister, you have more authority, but sure, I'm the youngest and I have less authority and I can't work with this. So I was like, look, babe, can we just agree that we're twins now? There's no authority. It's 50-50 now, so which is great. And sure, the year and a half feels like nothing really.
Nothing.
Which is great.
So I'm now 24 again and 26. Worked out well for me.
Well, when you get to my age, a year and a half is a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, maybe we'll discuss the first song you're going to sing. Or
Yeah.
we'll play it from your new upcoming CD when it comes out. Maybe give us the title and talk about it and where you got it from, and you know.
Yeah, fantastic.
So our first single is called Tá An Chéad Ghluin Eile, which translates to My Match Was Made, and it is a bilingual song. And it's a traditional Irish song where each first verse, each two verses is a pair. So each first verse will be As Gaeilge, and then the following verse is in English, which translates what just happened. And it's about this man who falls in love with a woman, but then she's gone off somewhere, and then they decide to make his match to someone that he doesn't like. And he's like, do you know what? I'll take my own advice, leave her behind, go roaming the world all over. We love that for him. And he goes roaming the world on the hunt, trying to find the love of his life that's gone off. And the song traditionally ends with him getting a letter from your one, being like, I'm abroad, Legra, the end kind of thing. And that's the end of the song. And we were like, that is so anticlimactic. We need something. And even in Irish tradition, and especially with our Sean-Nós songs, we find that a lot of our ancestors and, past generations would have added to the songs. They would have added in new words. They might have added a verse from a completely different song and just added it into this song because they liked it. So that was something that we only kind of discovered recently, that oh my gosh, it is in our power to change the ending of this song. And it comes with the Irish tradition, that the Irish tradition, it's not frozen in time. It's ever evolving, and it's ever pure, and it's ever growing, which we just love to hear. So we added in a final verse which ensures that he then, after opening the letter, closes the letter and then goes set sail to find her, and they travel the world together. So it's just a lovely ending to the song.
Nice.
It's the wholesome content that we all need. Do you know?
Wonderful.
It's the happy ending. So that's Tá An Chéad Ghluin Eile, and we first heard Emily Urishke, who is a stunning
She's
singer.
a fabulous singer.
She
Oh my
is a
goodness.
queen. We love her
voice.
work. She's so fabulous. So we actually learnt the song from her, and then ever since we've actually heard a lot of other people sing it and a lot of other different versions. So this is Tá An Chéad Ghluin Eile, a bilingual song. So you kind of test yourself on the first verse, see what you understand, and then the second verse literally just tells you in English. So it's a great way to test your Irish skills anyways.
Fantastic. Let's have a listen. Gorgeous piece. Absolutely well done, ladies. Terrific. Beautiful piece.
Thanks a lot.
Piece.
And like I was saying earlier on, I love bright music, and that is lovely, cheerful, bright, beautiful.
It's a bop. It's a bop. And do you know what? We actually always kind of have, when we do gigs, we have that kind of in the middle, because our band name is An Chéad Ghluin Eile, and that means the next generation. So what we are trying to do in our tiny little band of me and Maura is to promote the tradition, is to promote the Sean-Nós songs. And it's so lovely, because usually during our set we have that in the middle, and you can just see everyone just enjoying it, because they also, I think people love the Irish music because I think it takes them away to a different place, but then this one really helps them out with the bit of Béarla as well. So we just love singing that one.
Fantastic. Great stuff. If you just joined us, it's Étáin agus Máire nich Craic, and which is in go cartlumsa.
Étáin Máire.
Wonderful. From Rath Cairn Gaeltacht in County Meath. An Chéad Ghluin Eile is the name of your group. Marvellous. So it's a privilege to have you here. Tell us a little bit of the backstory, because the tradition and the culture, I presume because it's a Gaeltacht you're growing up with it all around you. And music, presumably an integral part of all of that too.
So we're so blessed to have been born and raised in the Gaeltacht. Agus, just being báta sa tradition, and it's such a lovely phrase. Báta in English would kind of translate to like drowned, but it's more positive in Irish. Like báta sa tradition means you're soaked in it. You're just soaked sa tradition, and like that even goes to like Sunday Mass at 10:15 when we're all just singing the hymns as Gaeilge, and even just like the way the Sean-Nós singers all come together to sing just the humming, the hymns as Gaeilge on Sundays, like it's just fabulous. And even like when we talk about like the Irish culture that we're trying to, not even to promote, but just trying to share with the world, like our faith is an integral part of that. And like our hymns and our songs, like even in some set lists we'll throw in a hymn in a concert where people mightn't necessarily be used to having, a hymn on the set list. And it's just so fabulous, and we're so blessed. I guess growing up with Gaeilge was so fabulous that like our parents took great care, and sometimes we split it, that even both parents would have lovely Irish and both parents would have a beautiful faith. We always kind of saw that Mom was the one that really worked on making sure that we knew where we came from and where our faith came from, and then Dad was really big on being sure that we were just so proud to be Irish and that we just loved our culture more than anything. And the two, like on the Gaeilge agus an Chéad thought they're fit to foot, like it's so hard to separate the Irish language from the faith, and it's stunning. And one of my favourite memories is growing up when myself and Étáin, for some strange reason, we never used to share a room, which many people don't believe. You'd swear we lived together, but we were sharing a room. And I remember Dad's he had this, he had a big mission almost weekly or monthly that we'd learn the biggest prayers we could. So Dad was teaching us the Memorare as Gaeilge. And I remember in the Mór and Man Matirna. What's that? That's not
almost gracious.
No, it's in Canada. My soul proclaims the greatness of the Lord.
Oh,
that's
the
Magnificat. The Magnificat.
Okay.
So like imagine us probably hardcore. He started us off young. Do you know, but I still remember Dad's coming in each night. He might teach us a few lines of it, and initially the words were mahus. Do we didn't really know what we were saying initially, but we knew there was loads going on. So each night he'd teach us a few lines before we'd go to sleep. And then we'd fall asleep and know those lines for the next day. And it's gas then, saying those prayers now and remembering the time that Dad put aside so we would have those prayers as Gaeilge. And it's just, I don't know how I got here, but it's just fabulous. The culture that we have.
Magnificat, is there a setting for it in Irish, in music?
Oh, that's a great question. Not yet, but we can get on that. Challenge accepted.
Ask us the next time we're here.
It's a favourite hymn here. We play it in English and Latin and any other which way we.
Yeah.
But you just sort of triggered something there. That would be beautiful.
It would be stunning, because there was one line in particular that out of all of the lines in it, it was Lag Sha Prince on the Gaidachi, which means he knocked
down the princes from their thrones.
Knocked the princes off their thrones. We were like, what a king. Love it. So out of all of those lines, I still remember Dad's teaching us that when we were young.
Nice.
Do you know, so even when we're saying it now, it's just the intergenerational work that's put in to promoting the Irish language and to promoting the faith and how they're so interlinked. And that's really why we call ourselves An Chéad Ghluin Eile. Agus, growing up in the Gaeltacht, do you know when people go to the Gaeltacht, they might go for 3 weeks during the summer, and they might stay with the Bananty and with the family. That was our childhood. So Mam was a Banatty, Dad was a Farratty. Agus, we just constantly had people in our house, constantly had people just learning Gaeilge. And it was a fabulous upbringing, because Mama would tell us your job is to entertain. We were challenge accepted.
To make them feel at home. That was also a big one. Don't have anyone going home. They have to feel at home.
Yes. And it was fabulous to grow up with having you might have, okay, maybe not 20. It felt like there were 20 of them. There might have only been 15 or 16, brothers we would have for a month, and then they'd leave, and then you'd have 16 new sisters for a month. And being able to constantly share our culture with them. And it was a fabulous upbringing. I really, really loved it. And so many people mightn't. It's so normal to us, and it's only when we're on stages literally all over Ireland, all over the world, and it's only when you're describing oh well, we learnt this song from so and so, or we learnt this song when we were growing up, that you realise wow, that was so not normal for everyone else.
Okay, yes.
Do you know? So we're just so blessed.
Amazing, thank God. Yes. Wake a dia.
Fuichas le dia.
Gee, there's grand lost there. I have to go. I'll head down and practice a bit of Irish with you.
Sure, come on
Yeah.
over. We've loads of bunk beds.
Good.
Well, you got an invite to the Rathcarn Gaeltacht there.
Good. We're off, Thomas.
We'll have you fluent yet.
That's right.
They'd inspire you though, wouldn't it? Listen to them.
Yes. God bless you. No, that's marvellous. And you're right. It's a feature of our work here, ministry here. Biogan in Gaelga, and I'd like to see it flourish and grow a little bit more in the same way. So music, Thomas. I'm distracting the.
No. I'm kind of blown away. I'm kind of knocked off my little perch here. As normal, I'm out of my depth, Father.
No, I don't believe it.
I'm sunk. I'm, what did they say? Drowned in culture.
Báta. Má focail an lei. Báta.
I won't forget that one now in a hurry. Well, sure, maybe we go to another song then.
Yeah.
You know,
Fabulous, yeah.
maybe you'll introduce it.
Yeah, so the next song is called Bríd Óg Ní Mhála, and we actually heard this from numerous singers, but I guess the main singer that we would have really listened to, and especially when we were learning it ourselves and trying to get our own version of it and make our own, you know, to put our own stamp with the song, was a lady called Muireann Owley.
The Queen.
And she is an amazing, oh my gosh, she is an amazing singer and musician. She's just so talented, and so she's so gifted, but she has such knowledge.
Dunno.
She's she's just she's amazing. But we just loved her way of singing it, and she actually sang it on the Tommy Tiernan show one day, and I really just thought like anyone who didn't understand even what the song was about would understand it by just looking at her sing it. And she really sings from the heart, and that's something that when we were growing up, our granny used to always say, if you're going to sing a song, sing it from the heart, Cas Hungry. So we really just, I guess, zoned in on her version, and then tried to make our own with it. So this is Bríd Óg Ní Mhála, and the song, Maura, do you want to tell us about the story of it?
So Jack Warnock accompanies us on the guitar, and Jack Warnock is a king. Anyone who's just bought this tradition, we're like, oh, they're a king, they're a queen. We just love their work. But the song itself is about a man who is in love with Bríd Óg Ní Mhála. Agus, we didn't add a new verse to this one. I don't know, it just didn't feel right, because the song itself, it is a bit, you know, sad. Spoiler alert. But it's just, so he's in love with Bríd Óg, and then it's just, I don't know if there's much we can really say, and we don't really want to get people down before they listen to the song. But have a listen, and it's very different from the first single, which is kind of what we were going for, because the first one is so us, it's so energetic, it's so full of life, whereas the second one is very pensive, which we can be sometimes, but it's very slow. So Chéad Ghlúin Bríd Óg Ní Mhála.
Sa bhríd óg ní mhála, stúdóg mo chrí cráte,
Gorgeous piece of music, absolutely beautiful. That's Bríd Óg Ní Mhála. There it is. Young Bríd. I hope she's doing well now anyway.
I have to say, some of the Irish, the airs to those songs are beautiful as well, aren't they? They really touch the soul. I don't know what it is about them. Yeah, they're really, really beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? Sometimes I know there are people who, when they listen to a song, they listen to the words, or there are people who will listen to the melody. And I really find that if you can get both, if you can get fabulous, well, especially because we listen to Irish songs, like songs as Gaeilge, if you can find both a fabulous melody and just such rich Irish, rich phrases, you've just won. It's like hitting the jackpot. Yeah, really fabulous. Yeah.
Great stuff.
Unfortunately, my Irish wouldn't be good enough to get the song. But it's beautiful, and I've heard many a person doing that song. It's kind of a popular song.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's so many.
Are we a sentimental race, would you think? Do we like would you call that sentimental enough song, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I think a bit like, I know if they're anything like our dad loves any kind of Hallmark film. Do you know, if you can have a good love story at the end that you need to cry, maybe that's the Irish just summed up. Yeah, maybe we just like songs that just move us or bring us back to a time that something not that it's something bad had happened in our lives, but just something that would bring us back to a memory or an event, maybe.
And do you sort of fall naturally into the music and the singing? Do you play instruments at all? Or have you tin whistle or fiddle? Or?
Well, do you know what? So Mum would always say that before we could talk, we were singing.
Okay.
So if you could get an image of how we were as kids, she said we were just constantly singing, and she knew that, and people would have said like, oh, they'll have, you know, like a good voice when they're older. And she said that humbly, but you know, people would have said like, oh yeah, they'll be good singers. Our dad, and actually I guess the music came from Chéad from both sides. Mum is from Castleton in Cork, and she would have been an O'Sullivan, and they were known as the singing O'Sullivans down there. And then Dad's uncle in particular was a renowned Sean-Nós singer. His name was Dara Chocán. So I guess the music comes from both sides.
So the songs and the singing come from both sides.
Yeah.
Whereas we wouldn't actually be a very big instrumental, is that the right word?
I don't think we have the patience for it.
Didn't really, and especially like, I suppose we learn a lot through song, and just the classes that we kind of ended up going to were all very based on being able to read the music and learning from that, and that just took way too long and we just didn't have the patience for it. So like we sometimes, like I might go back to the flute the odd time. Étáin has a fiddle, and it's now, you know what, it's almost like a statue. It's an ornament. You know? So we gave it a go, but do you know what, sometimes what is it? Quit while you're ahead, kind of thing. Quit while you're behind, whichever one it is.
You can bring the voice anywhere.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And you're starting to do that. You're getting a little bit of traction online and nationally, and you mentioned internationally too.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Only a few weeks ago we were in Birmingham Tradfest, and the amount of Irish people over there was just fantastic to see. And just to meet people from other cultures as well, and who were, you know, people who were so involved in Irish music, and then people who were saying, I've just started to listen to it, and you know, I'm YouTubing everything, and I just had to come to hear it live. So that was a really lovely experience, and we're hoping to maybe go to America for St. Patrick's Day. That's kind of in the works.
That's our talk at the moment.
Yeah. Hopefully I haven't jinxed it or anything.
And social media is fabulous for that. Like, it was only in the last, we should really know, because we grew up together always singing As Gaeilge, there was never really a need for like a band name. Like, we were always just Étáin agus Máire, like where you found one you found the other fairly easily. And it was only kind of recently, like in the last maybe 5 or 6 years, do you know, when we'd be at gigs and stuff, like they were saying, you know, like, oh, what's your band name? We're like, wow, we really need to like think of something. So it was Étáin's husband, who was her boyfriend at the time, who came up with like, oh well, what's the Irish for the next generation? So we were like, class, An Chéad Ghluin Eile. And then we had to make it official with a Facebook page. And then we ventured towards Instagram, and we're on TikTok now. And it's just so fabulous to see, like, you just never know where a reel or where a TikTok or where a Facebook video is going to go. Like, you just never know. And it's really, really exciting that we can reach so many people now. And I'm sure you get that with the radio. Like, you just never know who you're talking to or who you're connecting with. And it's just so exciting that then when we do have gigs and when we finally meet people, like, honestly, we just hug them, we just love them, because there's just so much support and there's so much grow online. And it's great that even both, like, individually on our personal Instagrams, you know, we do it all through Gaeilge. Like, you know, we might chat on our stories As Gaeilge, we'll post pictures As Gaeilge, and there's just so much that we can do as Irish TikTokers, as Irish Instagrammers and like influencers. There's so much that we can do, and it's just great to see even like a younger generation coming up and like doing that as well. And we talk about this actually a lot, that in the Irish, like, trad, not that it's a circle, because I feel like sometimes a circle could be like it's closed off. In the Irish trad world, we'll say, that has no entry or exit, you're just like in it whenever. We find that it's the older generation that are just so excited and so proud to see a younger generation coming up. And even when we were younger in the Gaeltacht, And like sure we'd learn a new verse of a song, and then we'd be up in our local, like we call our pub like the club, so we'd be up there and like they'd get you, like the older generation would get you to sing a song, and like even if you weren't in the mood, like you just had to, like it was your duty. So you sang a song, and even if you forgot the words, the older generation would join in, or they'd, you know, help you out. And even if you only sang one verse, sure, like you'd get like the biggest clap. You would swear you won an Oscar. Like the support that we got just growing up. And it's only now in my tender age of 24 and a half that I'm thinking like, wow, like they just gave us so much takeíocht that now like we don't really mind where we're singing, like should just put us wherever we'll sing away. And it's such a fabulous upbringing to get, that like Mama Shanga would always say like it takes a village to raise a child, and like a solid like 4 or 5 generation village raised us, who would always have us singing. And it's just so fabulous that, you know, we can call ourselves An Chéad Ghluin Eile. We are the next generation, and previous generations, do you know, they brought these songs as far as our generation, and sure now it's our duty to pass it on. And even like, you know, women that we would look up to like Sheila Denver, Muireann Gowley, and so many more, they're so supportive of our music. And like sure we're like, oh my gosh, they're amazing, they're looking at us, they know our name, do you know? And they're so excited to see a new generation coming, do you know, coming after them. And I think that's what's so beautiful, that for us anyways, we see a real absence of competition. It's not like, oh sure, their music is different to ours. We're like, oh my gosh, they're unreal, they're singing as well. We're all on the same team. And there doesn't necessarily have to be a best, do you know, there doesn't necessarily have to be like a winner, do you know, we're all on the same team working towards the same goal, keeping our culture, keeping our songs alive. And the oral tradition is so exciting, because sure a lot of times Étáin would find a song from, let's say, Muireann Gowley, like Bríd Ó Níomhála. Étáin learnt that song from her and she taught it to me, and then when Étáin sings the song, I then add harmonies, and we're doing it all ó bhéal, like from mouth or like by ear. And that's how I imagine that they did it long ago. Should they'd all be like out, you know, outdoors or indoors, working together, singing together, learning that way. And who's to say that there weren't harmonies long ago? Do you know? And even earlier when we were downstairs, we were all singing Lady of Knock, and there was like a little boy who was like in his own key, in his own tune, and I was like, that's actually a fabulous harmony. Do you know, so you don't necessarily have to be, do you know, in tune sometimes that works out as a fabulous drone, which is great.
Very good, very good. Gosh, well done.
Wow.
Thomas,
follow that. I can't.
This is a different show. We're not used to this kind of standard now.
I don't have to say anything today at all. Fair play to you, ladies. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
It's a quiet house we have at home, as you can imagine.
Yes.
That's right.
Definitely, if we're up down with Father, we'll have to drop in.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Doors
You will
always
have
open.
to. Father can sing as well. He has a few songs, but
Bring him on.
yeah.
We can harmonise.
I'll spare it though, but
Gasp.
I spoiled our listenership.
We have Berla too.
well, we won't let him sing this
No,
in case he ruins this show.
Okay,
Well,
away from
anyway,
me.
yeah. Sure, maybe we'll go to another song, will we?
Go ahead.
Yes.
Thomas, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is the next song is a song called Chéad Ghlúin Eile, and one thing that Máire and I love to do is to explore. And what I mean by that is to explore the different songs in the different Gaeltacht areas, because I guess when we were growing up, because we had Connemara Irish, we would have learned a lot of songs from Connemara. We would have listened to a lot of Connemara singers, male and female. But when we were growing up, we were kind of saying, oh my gosh, there are fabulous songs and completely different styles of singing in different parts of Ireland. And Ireland is tiny, but the range of the styles is incredible. So this is a song from Donegal, and it's called Chéad Ghlúin Eile, and it's about this man who... Sorry, we actually heard this first from one of the nephews of the O'Cassidy. Have you ever heard of the O'Cassidy?
Yes.
Yeah. A fantastic group. But they actually did a concert in Rock Iron one day, and I sometimes like to think of myself as like, you know, the Edward Bunting of, you know, I always have the recorder out just in case there, you know, that there's gold happening on that night. And this is just one that I had to record. It was a fantastic version. Again, sang from the heart. So it's called Chéad Ghlúin Eile, and it's about this man who's in love with a woman, and he's talking about all the women that he has known in different parts of Ireland.
Very good. Let's have a listen. Oh, fantastic. Máire Étáin and Máire, if you just tuned in with us there, Chéad Ghlúin Eile. That's a familiar melody, and tune in. Clonard used to sing that one.
Yes.
Featured.
Exactly.
Gorgeous little piece as well. So listen, you're seriously talented. We're just blown away here. It's a great blessing to have you with
God
us.
is good.
So listen, well done.
Oh, yes. Look, if anyone has messages or anything like that would like to contact us,
do please.
You can WhatsApp us on 089 467 2000, or you can email us on info@radiomaria.ie, or you might like to call us on 014 123 456, or you might like to write to us at St Anthony's Business Park, Ballymount Road, Dublin 22. We're having a wonderful show here. I'm just sitting back, really enjoying the day. Now I'm getting taught. I'm learning. And now I'm so inspired. I'm going to try and make another blast at the Irish language.
All right, lads.
He's a beautiful bloss. As my brother has moved to Donegal from Canada, you know, he's into Gaeltacht, Guidor kind of thing, but he's learning his bit of Irish, but they're slagging him, you know. Brian, go away with that book Irish, you know. That's what I'd have, book Irish, you know. But anyway, that's great.
So Máire's gift, Máire's blessing, and just lovely to hear like the value and the beauty of music, its internationality, its sort of universal appeal. Like you've been speaking of there, and whatever it is about the Irish as well, we sort of bring something with us, and I think it's certainly to do with the spirit, and you've touched in on the influence of the faith in the midst of all of that too, and I just love the idea and the ambition of sort of preserving that culture, agus on creative freshen, that we have a rich treasure. That, and it's so appealing. It has such an appeal to a universal appeal. So gorgeous. But Sean-Nós singing, I mean, there's a bit of skill, a bit of talent, a bit of learning in that. It's not something that just sort of falls from the sky.
Yeah, and you know what? The fascinating thing about it is that, like, we're, I guess, breaking the tradition, because it's usually, if you look at the set of rules for Sean-Nós singing, it's usually a solo singer. And I guess what we really learned when we were younger is that it's all on the voice, and kind of saying, I guess, asking yourself, what can I do with my voice? Do you know? And it's not in a show-off kind of a way, but what can my voice do? It's now the instrument, because there's no back music, there's no backing track behind you. Everyone is listening to how you sing this song, and I guess that's where a Casa Ón Greek, singing from the heart, always helps. But when we started An Chéad Ghluin Eile, we started adding harmonies to these songs, and I think we were kind of, I wouldn't say afraid, but we were kind of wary of maybe backlash from like the hardcore Sean-Nós singers, that they may think, you're ruining the tradition, what are you doing? Like, we have to preserve it, not kill it. And that's what and thankfully we haven't received anything. As Máire said, like, we have had people in, like, older generations who've said, like, love what you're doing, keep it going. You know, I have my grandchildren listening to it and they love it. And it's really fabulous to see, because we're not trying to ruin it, we're only trying to preserve it and to keep it going. But it's the fabulous thing about it now, is that you're always relying on your voice. The voice is just amazing. Like, it really, really is. And then just to mind it with, you know, manuka honey and hot tea.
And
Because-
growing up, I suppose, with this focus on the solo voice, and you having to know the words yourself, and having to know, you know, the notes, and then even listening to older generations and how they would sing it, and even our granduncle Darcha Cahan, who has had a massive influence like on us and on our singing, and we were so proud growing up that our granduncle had a CD, and sure, we'd actually be listening to his CD over and over again until we had mastered every note, same as him. And then what we really enjoyed was just the two of us singing together. So it was lovely to have that, like that bunús, like that foundation of being able to see agus Casalatain, just to stand up and sing on your own. And like at the tender age of like 6 or 7, and there might have been like 6 or 7 verses, do you know, like that requires great skill, and when we wouldn't even say great training, because we wouldn't be very clinical or very like obsessed with how it all works. Like you just sing the song, and whether you sang it well, great, and if not, try again kind of thing. And then now the fact that we sing together, you know, some people might only think of Sean-Nós, as Étáin said, as in one solo voice, but if we go back long enough, there might have there might have been more often more people singing together, you know, and that's where we have our working songs and we have our hymns and people coming together and singing together. And I always argue, like, for all we know, there were harmonies, but now we kind of see harmonies as this modern thing, but like people have always been singing together in every culture, in every country. It's very natural for people to sing together, and there's something beautiful, there's something spiritual about the same words coming from everyone's mouth at the same time. And like, even I suppose praying the rosary is the same thing. We're all united, saying the same words at the same time, so we're singing together.
And would it be born out of the tradition of plain chant and then polyphony? You know, the churches has both traditions, if you like. Is there a connection, or?
Not that we know of, but we could investigate if we're ever back again. We could report back.
Sure. I wonder if it had an influence in some way. Again, you're speaking this of the spiritual connection, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's hear some more music, because it's just so beautiful.
Okay, so the next one we have is called Casa and Thugan, and Máire actually explains the story very, very well. This is Máire's, I would say Máire's job, especially when we have gigs. She would tell, well, we both would, but she loves this one because she tells it so well. It's so dramatic, which suits her down to the ground. So I'll let her tell the story, but we actually heard this song, oh my gosh, from a girl. She's over on the Aran Islands. Her name is Lázarine Ní Chónaile, and she, like, we grew up listening to so many CDs from Darcha Cahan, Beyonce, Karina Del Rey to Lázarine Ní Chónaile. Everyone in between was just a bonus, but Lázarine is just, she has the most haunting voice. She has an unbelievable range of notes in her in her music. She's just fantastic. But we heard this song from her on her album Flame of Wine, and then we put our own little stamp on it as well. So the story is
Agus Cas and Thugan means like the twisting of the rope. So what we have is, once again, you'll be shocked to hear, there is a man in love with a woman. At this time, this woman, unfortunately, or this girl that he's in love with, she actually has a mother, as we all, please God, do. But anyways, the mother's not really a fan of his work, and she's like, absolutely not. And somehow your man is already in the house already, so she's like, how am I going to get rid of this lad who's in love with my daughter, and like, I'm just not having any of it, right? So she says, here, do you mind actually help me like twist this rope? So Cas and Thugan is like the turning of the rope. So she's like, okay, here, help me out. And sure, your man's delighted. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in with the mother-in-law. She
likes me.
I'm en route to get the blessing kind of thing. So she's like, great, here you go. So there he is, twisting the rope with her. And sure, he has to like keep stepping away to keep twisting, or however way it works. And then he keeps going until he actually has to like get out of the house. So he has to walk out the door. And as soon as she has him out, she like slams the door shut. And he's out, kicked out of the house, and I don't think they end up together, but it is a lovely song, so we justify it that way. Yeah. So Chéad Ghlúin Casa and Thugan.
Wow, very good. I see it's rubbing shoulders with a lot of the greats, and even one of your own heroes, I think, Sheila Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Unwonderful.
Yeah, she's
Talk about a moment.
Yes. She was involved in that beautiful band, Lead On.
Yes.
Yes, they've been on television too. A lovely, lovely band. Great
Fantastic.
gang of women there all together, great musicians and singers.
Fabulous. And that's another CD that we actually grew up listening to, and then we only found out, well, actually, I suppose we were young enough when we found out we're actually related to Sheila Denver. Sure, that was another like feather in our bow. We were like,
go on, move over.
So the two of them are just great to have in the family. And Sheila Denver herself, like, she's just amazing at what she does. Like, she's a lecturer, and like, she's just a full-time like musician and singer. And recently she like created this project with Ceol and So the two of them came together and kind of started this project called Blá na Hóige. And Blá na Hóige is a lyric that would be very common in a lot of songs, and it's like the flower of youth. So a lot of our Sean-Nós songs would have that like little motif, just Blá na Hóige mentioned. Agus, what they did was they just brought, I'm going to say youngsters, but I don't know if we use that word anymore, but they brought just young Sean-Nós singers in kind of like their 20s, maybe like early 30s, together from all the different Gaeltacht areas. So myself and Étáin, we were representing Racharan, Seamus O'Flaherty agus Cuivni Laharta, who are amazing, just an amazing duo, a brother and sister from Connemara. They were there representing Connemara. Agus Achin, we had Cahal O'Curran from Doonangal, we had Megan Nicrody from Doonangal, Maivni Vegliach, who'd be one of the Begleys, Winty Vegliach. Agus Achin, we had Pierce O'Lurcon. And sure, we were all brought together and we all met in Studio Cuan, which is the studio in Connemara, and we all met and we had 4 days to get to know each other and to record an album. And it was honestly like, and sure, we're all like in our 20s, like early 30s at this stage. August, like, it was just the coolest summer camp we were ever on. It was so fabulous, and it was just so lovely to have the time, to be given that time to just come together and to work together, knowing that like we're all working together, we have a goal, but we got to know each other through music. And a lot of us actually would have followed each other on Instagram and on TikTok already. But yeah, Blá na Hóige was just great.
I just wanted a little moment to give a shout out to all our dear listeners getting in touch. Ceol Ghlúin Eile from James there. God bless. Is das vegeisach levur Aine Oga or Racharan and Uvel. So that comes Gar Milamaga. I think that's some more of a she says, did she learned Breathe Ogni Wilder from a Connemara teacher in primary school nearly 70 years ago, one of my favourite songs. So you're delighting our listeners. And another message, what a delight to listen to those ladies singing and speaking Irish makes me want to go back to school. Yay! So, fantastic for that. So delighted. She says, I have it blaring in my daughter's house, Radio Maria, blaring in my daughter's house in Australia. They love it. So there you are. And Mark says, enjoying Collis Crack today. The Connemara Blas is Connemara is fabulous, he says. So terrific. And he says too, to encourage you to take another stab at the Gaelga. So lots of lovely comments there and feedback. So well done, ladies. God bless you. Have we time to fit in a little bit more? A final word?
I don't think we'll have to let them say goodbye, because we've run out of time. You'll have to come back, ladies. You'll have to come back.
2 hour slot.
Do you want to give your CD a plug before you go now?
Can do. So our music, our first 2 singles, they're on YouTube, they're on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, the works, and our album Call on Verts, meaning where are the two, agus under An Chéad Ghluin Eile, which is our name. And sometimes it's hard to spell, so if people just put in ACGE, we might come up. Good. The acronym, excuse me. So that should be out by the end of the month, and it's physical CDs we're releasing first, and then we should be digital in the next few months, but physical first always.
Good. You mentioned something about hymns as well. Have you a collection of those, or there's something we'd be very interested in too as well?
So a lot of our hymns would be on Instagram and on TikTok, and they tend to be the ones that go the most viral. So that's our second album now planned, all set to go. Oscar to get Irish hymns. So stay tuned. We'll be back, please God.
Well done. No, we lose our job if we run over time here, Thomas.
Thank you very much, ladies, for coming in. It's really a pleasure. I'm really inspired now by the show today.
Thank you so much.
No corny jokes today, Father.
No, I got
just plenty of culture. Thanks again, ladies.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in today. God bless you all.